Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just reading out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. The Boston Celtics have been waiting a couple of days to find out who their opponent in the NBA Finals will be. Last night, the Dallas Mavericks closed out the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road to end the series in 5 games. Dallas will be coming to Boston June 6th for Game 1, and I just wanted to share some things that I noticed in their previous meeting, so let's get into the film. First of all, before we start, I just want to say nothing that I'm saying here is definite. Things that happen in the regular season are not a sure barometer of things to come for the playoffs, but you can pull things from it. This was the only matchup the two teams had after the deadline, and both teams were at full strength. The only change I can notice is that Derrick Jones Jr. didn't hit his stride yet with the Mavs and wasn't starting and only played 7 minutes in this game, and has since become a pivotal Swiss Army knife player for the Mavs. Now, let's really get started. Alright, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in the house. And the first thing we will be looking at in today's video is the pick and roll defense. Of course, I just want to say that this video is based off this game mostly. I will be doing like a postseason numbers type preview thing in the coming days, of course, before the finals. But as you guys know, the Celtics pick and roll defense has been putrid in these playoffs, right? And of course, when you go against Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, two of the more dynamic handlers in this league on the same team, those pick and rolls are deadly. And then you pair those up with uber athletic bigs in Lively and Daniel Gafford. And this is the very first play of the game. And this is the thing that interests me the most when I turned this game on, was the matchups defensively. So here we have Jason Tatum on Derek Lively. We have Kristaps Porzingis on PJ Washington, right? Of course, we got Drew on Kyrie, and Jalen starts the game out on Luka Doncic. Derek White is on Josh Green. Of course, there are pros and cons to this approach, to having KP guard somebody like PJ Washington and Tatum and or Brown guard the centers. And the first pro was that PJ Washington was the main screen setter. It's not that PJ is bad or anything, he's a good player, but in a later clip I'll show you how the Mavs really wanted KP in the pick and rolls, and with him on Washington, PJ was the main screen setting partner, and Porzingis just left Washington and made no effort to close out when he popped after the screens. This resulted in PJ shooting 16 shots in this game, which was third most on the team in this game and the third most shots he's taken all year with the Mavericks. PJ has shown he's capable of having some big games in the playoffs, but we rather him than Kyrie or Luka, of course. And of course, this approach allows Kristaps Porzingis to allocate more of his resources as far as helping at the basket and in that drop coverage to Kyrie and Luka instead of a guy like PJ Washington. And the cons to this approach is offensive rebound opportunities for the Mavs. I do recognize that Tatum is our most consistent rebounder, but having KP down there helps. And another thing is that KP is probably our best bet at defending the lobs when it comes to Lively and Gafford, or even Derrick Jones Jr. if he's the one setting the screen. Kyrie and Luka really thrive, and especially Luka, man, I don't think he misses passes. A lot of these passes are right on points to Lively and Gafford. So to be honest, the person that's most suited to stop lobs, whether that's either batting them down in the air or just contesting, is Kristaps Porzingis because he's 7'2". But the Celtics didn't necessarily get killed in that in this game, and I also would not mind seeing Kristaps Porzingis on Derrick Jones Jr. in the finals if we keep up this same approach. All right, so earlier I said the Mavs really plan to have Kristaps Porzingis in most of their pick and rolls, and this was a perfect example right here. So you're gonna see, all right, so here you're gonna see PJ's gonna come around a little bit, and the screen setter seems to be Derek Lively, right? But as Derek is going up to set the screen, Kristaps tells Drew to go get Derek Lively. So again, he's guarding PJ, and there's somebody else guarding Lively. As soon as Lively sees that Kristaps is no longer on him, I'm gonna turn the sound on, and I'm gonna let you guys hear what Derek Lively says. For the most such halves, he yelled, "Go PJ, go," because now PJ has Kristaps on him, and that was their plan all along in this possession. It was to get Kristaps in the pick and roll. The Celtics do a nice job of that communicating, because as Lively tells PJ to go, Josh Green is like, hey man, it's already 12 seconds on the shot clock, I might as well just go set the screen. And you're gonna see PJ respond to Lively and start to go up to set the screen, but then he sees that Josh Green is already setting it. That just takes away the entire Mavericks plan. Good job by the Celtics there. We obviously don't have to spend much time praising Luka Doncic, but he's just an amazing player, and I want to stress that this is one of the most scheme-proof players in the NBA. So the Celtics can try everything and it still may not work. Come to a point where they just let Luka do him and negate the others around him, because the thought is he can't beat us by himself, and we hope that that is true. All right, so in this game, Luka had a 37-point triple-double. So by no means did the Celtics stop this guy. He was carving us up for the night. But watch what happens on this play, right? This is the only time in this game I saw this be effective. If a guy is deemed to be unguardable and there's not much you can do when he has the ball in his hands, what do? You do your work early, right? So watch Jaylen Brown, and he is a guy that can do this. He has a lot on the offensive side of the ball for the Celtics, so maybe I don't want him doing this for a whole 4 quarters. If he can give us this for the 4th quarter, that would be great. But watch him guard Luka. He just won't detach from his body. He doesn't let Luka Doncic get the ball. And watch Luka, and of course he wants the ball. He's been scoring and assisting and all that shit. He gonna drop his head, right? And he completely takes Luka Doncic out of this play. Then the rest of this play is just jumbled up crap from the Mavericks, and they don't score. Kyrie Irving is a little more interesting just based on the fact that he's been slightly up and down efficiency-wise in this postseason. He went 9 for 23 in this game versus Celtics I'm showing you guys today, and has had games where he's been impactful without scoring, the normal impactful scoring Kyrie, and somewhere he's inefficient and not effective at all in these playoffs. So I do expect a game or two where Kyrie isn't shooting the ball as efficiently, as he's had 7 games of shooting under 45% from the field in these playoffs. But this is truly one of the most talented players we have ever seen, and we have to guard him the same whether he's hot or not, because he can have 36 just like he did last night. Another important thing with these two guys is how much we switch. This is the most dynamic ball handling duo in the league, and switching guys who aren't normally checking them onto them could be problematic. But in this game specifically, the guy Luka liked the most was Payton Pritchard as far as switches go. He was 3 for 6 versus Payton Pritchard, and a lot of it is just that Luka's stature is too much for Pritchard. I'm interested to see if Payton Pritchard's playing time fluctuates because of that matchup. Horford, however, held up well in this game as Luka shot 1 for 4 against him, and 3 of those were threes. This does not make me feel better about Al switching onto him at all, but it was good to see Al do good. Luka was also 2 for 5 against Kristaps. Next is Derek Lively, who was a massive problem for the Celtics in this game. He had some really impactful two-way possessions for the Mavs with his defense and finishing, throwing down some thunderous dunks. His impact and effort was definitely felt in this game, and I really hope he's healthy after taking a couple hits to the head in the Minnesota series. Also, I want to note that in this game, it seemed like Daniel Gafford was played off the floor. He was healthy, and I didn't hear anything injury related on the broadcast. He only played 6 minutes in this game, and Jason Kidd elected to play Maxi Kleber 20 minutes. Gafford, of course, is an uber athletic rim threat on both ends of the court and runs the floor really hard, and most likely won't be getting 6 minutes if he's healthy in the playoffs. Xavier Tillman was also insane defensively in this game. It was his first rotational minutes as a Celtic, which I of course have a full film session on. I'll put that somewhere up here, but he had some nice minutes in the Pacers series, and I'm interested to see if he gets some in the finals, as he is our best switching big. And to wrap up the defense, I don't hate the approach of KP being on a non-center. I think it worked well for us for the most part, but also no panicking if this doesn't work, because series and even games are very long and things can be changed in an instant due to the things we're seeing. Now, as far as our offense goes, we were humming in this game, scoring 138 points on 55% from the field and 21 for 43 from 3. I would be a fool to expect the Celtics to do this more than once in this series, but I believe that the formula and the process in this game was correct. People will always talk about the Celtics' reliance on the 3 ball, but I believe the most important thing with the threes are the type of threes that we are generating. We had 33 assists in this game, and our first 11 made threes were all assisted on. If we continue to drive and kick for threes, we should be in really good shape. This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It is the most fun and exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stats projections and you're locked in. When the finals are over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball is just getting started with young stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Breanna Stewart and Aja Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. I've been using PrizePicks for about 2 years and have won a pretty penny in that span, mostly doing basketball and football. Once again, download the app today and use the code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less, It's that easy. First player for the offense is Kristaps Porzingis, and man, I really do think we need him to win this series. His impact on the season and specifically this game was just really huge. On a team with Lively and Gafford, two bigs who are shot blocking oriented and primarily want to guard and help when things go into the paint. KP's spacing was insane, and it always goes back further than just a three-point line. Then once he starts to hit threes, the Mavs were very cautious of him, and his presence was opening up things for others, as you'll see in these next clips. All right, so here we got Kristaps coming up trying to set the screen on Jason Tatum. Tatum does a nice job with his drag dribble, dragging it out towards the baseline more so Daniel Gafford can come away from Kristaps Porzingis even more. He gets the pass, and I think by this point, Kristaps Porzingis has about 3 threes already. So now he has 2 guys closing out to him. He has Gafford trying to recover, and he has Dante Exum, who is doing a good job here trying to prevent KP from shooting this, and is going to try to get back to Derek White. It's just too late. A good pass by KP and a knockdown by Derek White. All right, so here we got Drew coming up the court, and he's going to find Kristaps Porzingis, who's open at this moment, but he pump fakes. He's going to go towards Derek White, and then the Mavericks are going to double team him. Probably a poorly timed double team here by Luka Doncic, but it is what it is, and this causes a ripple effect on the rotations, right? So now they double. Now Derek White's open. Because Derek White is open, Josh Green has to step up. Because Josh Green has to step up, somebody has to come down and fill his spot. But on this play, both Kyrie and Lively react to Jaylen Brown dive into the basket, which leaves Jason Tatum wide open on the wing for 3. And here on this possession is KP's impact without even touching the ball. First, it's a screen for Jaylen Brown to get him away for Tim Hardaway Jr. And as I said before, you have 2 rim protecting bigs in Lively and Gafford, guys who are going to primarily want to creep over on those drives and help protect the rim. By the end of this game, Kristaps shut all that down. I believe he had 4 threes in this game, and this possession just tells a lot. Again, Lively, a guy who is going to help in those drives more often than not. Here, as Jaylen Brown drives, he knows that he has to stay within closing distance of Kristaps Porzingis because the Celtics will pass it to him and he will hit the shot, which leaves Jaylen Brown wide open to drive, and he hits it. Next is the defense of the 2 Mavs stars, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Now, in the first game the C's and the Mavs played in Dallas, it was a bloodbath for Luka and Kyrie defensively. Tatum and Brown worked them so bad, I even made a video on that. I'll leave that somewhere for you to watch after this. That game, again, was before the trade deadline. In this game, the Celtics shot 63% versus Luka on 14 shots and 76% versus Kyrie on 12 shots, and it could have been way worse, and I'll show you why. So the reason I say it could have been way worse is because the Mavericks only allowed Jason Tatum to get 1 shot on Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, because every time, specifically for Luka, every time he was in front of Jason Tatum, the Mavericks sent help. And this is going to be something very, very important for the Celtics. If they can see these doubles and take advantage of them having numbers in the half court, because the Mavericks are trying to compensate for Luka Doncic's defense, right? If we can get the ball in rotation, snap the ball, and attack really fast before they get back set, this could really open up things for our offense. So you see, Tatum draws 2. You got Kristaps Porzingis wide open. Dante Exum has to rotate to him. And again, Derek White's open now. Jaylen Brown's open now, right? Jaylen Brown gets against Kyrie, and he makes a quick decision, and he drives for the basket. All right, so here the Celtics run chin action. Chin action is just named after a type of cut, which is called a chin cut. It is a cut after a back screen. So you're going to see Tatum right here. He's going to get the back screen from Al Horford, and this is to create a switch and to get easy post-up position or an easy layup. So here, I was going to set the screen. I think that's Derrick Jones, right? And because he sets a good screen on Derrick Jones, Luka Doncic is forced to switch on him. So Tatum gets the ball in easy post position, and now the help is going to come. See, Kleber comes right there, and now we have an advantage. We got 4 on 3 right here, 4 on 3. So Tatum is going to make the skip pass to Drew Holiday, and he's going to hit the corner 3. And this was just some pistol action I like from the Celtics. Jaylen Brown throws it up, and it's just a handoff, and he's sprinting to it, forces the Mavericks to switch, and he goes to work on Luka Doncic. The Mavericks went zone for a couple stretches in this game too. I don't think it'll be super prevalent in the finals given our offense and the way we successfully navigated through it in this game. And before I let y'all go, just some general thoughts. I don't think a lot has to be said about Tatum and Brown at this point. They just have to get this shit done. The Mavs have better defenders than the Pacers, of course, but I think they can both have the same type of series given how dominant they've been against Luka and Kyrie in the past. I'm torn on Kristaps Porzingis. I'm optimistic, but I am a little worried with just dropping him onto this stage, a place he's never been before, and it's his first action all postseason, but we really do need him. I don't want to watch Al Horford get tired out there having to deal with Luka and Kyrie, plus the lob threats of Lively and Gafford. I'm also interested to see how rotations will work on both sides in this series. With the Mavs, if we will see some more Maxi Kleber in this series, and for the Celtics, I wonder how long the leash is for Pritchard and Hauser if Luka is dominating them and they're also not giving you much offensively that night. I am sorry I don't have a prediction at the moment, but of course you'll get that before the finals, and I am sick, so thank you for putting up with the sick voice. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just read out there a little bit more. Now we'll see you guys in the next video, but this is Nick. Peace.